So, a friend of the family is coming to Puerto Rico to visit, and rather than compose an email or have a phone conversation with them, I decided I'd make a video about our recommendations and resources for visiting Puerto Rico. We've lived here since late May 2017, but I spent last summer in Kentucky. Then I came back just in time for Hurricane Maria. Then we evacuated for a few months, so it's not been a typical year. We've explored some and hope to explore and experience much more in the coming year or two while we're here. So keep in mind this video was made in late April 2018, so about 7 months have passed since Hurricane Maria devastated the island. Some of the tips on driving and other considerations have to do with the island still recovering. If more time has passed, then those recommendations may no longer be in effect. One of the best resources we've found for finding things to do here in Puerto Rico is PuertoRicoDayTrips.com. We're not affiliated with them, just happy users of the site. I believe the owners of the site also run a lodging place called Coquis Hideaway on the east side near El Yunque, the rainforest. It should be a great place to visit, and they've invested a lot in creating the website, PuertoRicoDayTrips.com, and could probably advise on a lot of different things to do throughout the whole island. One concern many people have is about not speaking Spanish. Some areas and some crowds speak more English than others, but you can usually find someone who can help you if you don't speak Spanish. Even if it's just someone in the line behind you at a store, they can often help. If you do speak Spanish, even a little bit, go ahead and try it. You can always switch to English if it doesn't work for you. A lot of their Spanish words are different here than where I learned Spanish in Argentina, so I've had to relearn some ways to say some of the things that they say. This video will cover tips on driving and getting around, a few things to do by region, lodging, food, and then other considerations, tips, and recommendations. Driving. First tip here is have patience. I'm trying hard myself. Practice breathing exercises if you have to. In general, courtesy here isn't part of the culture. I don't say that to be rude, it's just how things are. You'll see it in the grocery store. People park carts in the middle of the aisle and walk away to get something on a shelf, blocking both lanes of travel. And my wife had to point out to me that they're just oblivious, not trying to intentionally be rude. It's the same with driving. It's every car for itself. People are very rarely use blinkers. They use high beams at night all the time. Drive in the left lane, especially if it's smoother, and don't move over to let you pass. It's just part of their culture. Puerto Rico Day Trips has a good bit of info on driving that is pretty accurate. They've got some tips and tricks on rental cars and other driving information. Also, it seems like everyone loves flashy lights. School buses, tow trucks, delivery trucks, and about 1 out of every 10 cars has added flashing lights to their cars. For emergency vehicles, flashing lights only means that you have to move when their siren is on. So if they come up behind you with their flashy lights on, nobody's moving for them until they turn their siren on. One quirk is that the gas here is sold by the liter. So you'll see 78 cents, and you'll think, oh, gas is really cheap. But it works out to, about $3 a gallon. Distance is in kilometers, and you'll notice on the highway that it's marked every 1/10 of a kilometer. So, just in case you forget where you are, when you pass the 8-kilometer mark, you'll find an 8.1 kilometer mark, and then an 8.2 kilometer mark. Seems like a waste to me, but that's how it is. Speed is in miles per hour. So it's kind of a weird mix of metric and US standard. Weight is typically in pounds. So my wife's phone has had issues with GPS navigation. I've heard of some others who have also had issues. So make sure you have a navigator who can double check your routes while you're driving. My wife got sent perpetually around a cloverleaf exchange in San Juan once. Then her phone stopped talking to her when she stopped going around the cloverleaf. Her phone has quite an attitude. The roads here often lack good signs, especially after the hurricane. You can see the one on the left is kind of falling down, saying you can only travel to the left. which used to be the right before the hurricane, and also no left turn. So lanes here often end abruptly with no signs, or turn into right turn only lanes with no signs. A lot of intersections off the main roads have no right-of-way indicators. We joke that the Puerto Ricans need their own intersection sign that just says good luck, or suerte in Spanish. Alright, in town centers, treat intersections as a four-way yield. You can see the bottom right, it's so crowded and the intersections are often very tight that even if you have the right-of-way, people will just go right in front of you. After the hurricane, so many stoplights were damaged that people started ignoring them completely. So now when one gets fixed, people are used to them not functioning and blow right through. I've already seen several accidents due to this, so be careful at all the intersections. In the States, if a light's out, you treat it as a four-way stop. Here, it's usually the busier road that takes the right-of-way, and everyone else has to fend for themselves. Watch your speed on the roads. There are potholes and rough roads all over, especially near overpasses. You can lose control on some of the washboardy and potholy roads if you're going too fast. Businesses here don't always plan for parking, and it seems there are no zoning laws. So a business may be in the middle of a residential area, and people are parked on sidewalks or medians, or in the road. Even when there is designated parking, like at Walmart, people will park wherever they want, so watch out for pedestrians or people pulling out in those situations. So, things to do. Most people fly into San Juan, right here. Other options include flying into Ponce, Mayaguez, or Aguadilla. Of those three options, the one I recommend most is Aguadilla. It's a small airport, there's plenty of car rental places nearby, a lot less traffic, plenty to do in the area, and some nice beaches. I'd fly there before San Juan if more airlines flew there. Spirit Airlines flies there, and so if you have Spirit Airlines or any other airlines that fly to there where you're departing from, I think that's a great option. I'll go around the island clockwise, starting in San Juan with some things that I know about to do, but the experts on this are PuertoRicoDayTrips.com. Okay, so Old Town San Juan, you'll land over in this area. Here's the airport over here. And Old Town San Juan is right over here in this area. So if we zoom in, there's some government buildings in this area, and then there is El Morro. In two different areas here, there are old forts right here and out here on the point. Those are both really fun areas to see. Here are the cruise port docks. So cruise ships often land here, and so there's plenty of restaurants and souvenir shops in this area. Alright, so here's some pictures of El Morro. This is very iconic. It's on their license plate, these little watch out towers. It's just a fun place to visit. It's pretty cheap. It's either a state park or a national park. It's just a few dollars to get in. If you're active duty military, you get a discount. In fact, I don't think they made me pay last time. It's a fun place to visit. Okay, in the greater San Juan area, all of this area, greater San Juan metro area, there are plenty of places to eat and shop. There's the Plaza Las Americas. It's a big shopping center. I still haven't made it there yet. El Yunque is the rainforest to the southeast of San Juan, right here. When we first moved here, we went horseback riding in the area, and we had a good time. All the kids really enjoyed that. And there's actually quite a few resources online for El Yunque and finding places here. It's kind of the exception to the rule where you can't find everything online here in Puerto Rico. Further to the east, you've got two islands. There's a ferry. You can see the ferry route here. That goes to Vieques and Culebra. Flamenco is this bay, the beach here, but the island is called Culebra. Further to the east, you've got the U.S. Virgin Islands. I haven't been over there yet either, but you can take a ferry to Vieques or Culebra There's a nice bioluminescent bay that glows at night on one of these islands. I don't recall which, but that is one of the things on our to-do list. If you're in a hurry or want to get there faster, there are planes that fly over there as well. The ferry runs like most things here in Puerto Rico. It's kind of slow, lots of waiting, and not very reliable. You'll learn that everything here has a line, and not too many people are in a hurry. Alright, back on the main island, just north of Ponce in this area here, you'll find a waterfall called Salto Collores near Ponce. That was a blast. We were there in the fall before the hurricane. May have lost some of its vegetation and possibly some of its little boweries. There are boweries that you can rent by the day. There's quite a few other waterfalls on PuertoRicoDayTrips.com, and we hope to visit some more soon. Alright, west of Ponce, you'll find La Parguera. So La Parguera is supposed to be great for diving and snorkeling. Again, we've not been able to make it there yet, but we hope to soon. There's not really any good beaches here. It's mostly mangrove area, so you'll have to rent or charter a boat or a kayak to get out to the diving and snorkeling areas. You can see all the reefs and islands here in the area. There is a little hotel right here in the pueblo that it looks accommodating, kind of a cozy little hotel. You can rent kayaks right there in town, and there's also a bioluminescent bay in this area. Traveling west from there, you'll see Rojo Cabo. There is a lighthouse right here on this point, and this is called Playa Sucia, which means dirty beach. It's not really dirty. I don't know why they name it like that, but there's also a little rock bridge over in this area. It's kind of fun. Here you can see the lighthouse and the rock bridge. Okay, from Rojo Cabo, going north, there's Combate Beach. That's a local favorite, and it's a very long beach with a lot of sand. There's some restaurants here in this area. It's a nice place to visit. There's a bird refuge right here in this area. Likely a lot of mosquitoes there. Okay, north of there is the little town of Boquerón. There's a little marina here and a beach down south. So there's some restaurants right on the beach here. So I took this picture there in Boquerón just right after a rainstorm. It's kind of a fun picture. This was back in probably December. Alright, from Boquerón, you go north, there's Buye Beach. It's a little hard to get to, a little Google map reconnaissance and you can get there. You end up parking on the road here. There's a few parking areas here, but if it's very crowded, the parking starts to back up on the road. To the south, I've been told that this area is really nice for snorkeling. This beach here gets pretty crowded in the daytime. If you like hiking, this is also like a hiking path, and this area is like a little meadow. It's supposed to be really pretty. So good hiking, good snorkeling down here. A little further to the north, you can see there's also a few coral type reef areas when the water's clear. We live near Cabo Rojo. So this is the town of Cabo Rojo. We live over here on the coast, south of La Joyuda. And you can see we live in this neighborhood down here. So this is our little beach. We have some beach access right here. There's a playground and parking lot, and we can come out to this little beach here. This is where we do a lot of our snorkeling, on this coral reef right out here. We'll enter here often, come around here, and get out over here. There's also some nice little, there's good access here from this marina, and this is public access, and you can stay at these little, it's almost like private beaches, little sandy beaches, and then there's some good coral out here that's fun to snorkel in. You got to be careful to put boats in here and come and go. But if you stay by the coral, people don't bother you. North of Mayaguez is El Rincon area. I'm told that about half the residents there are retired folks from the States. So a lot of American-style food and a lot of English is spoken there. There are a lot of things to do on PuertoRicoDayTrips.com for El Rincon. We've not explored the area much, but we plan to. There's good snorkeling, surfing during times of the year where there are waves, and even some sailing or charter boats for fishing or diving in this area. Okay, north of El Rincon is Aguadilla area. This is the Aguadilla area. There's some nice beaches around here. Crash Boat Beach is down in this area. It's kind of an iconic sandy beach. A lot of the pictures that you'll see of beaches are of this one, Crash Boat Beach. To the north of there, I apologize, the imagery isn't loading very quickly. My internet's really slow right now. So this Playa Blanca Peña, we have a video of us kind of exploring that area. It's a fun area. When the waves aren't huge, it's supposed to be pretty good snorkeling there as well. From here, there's dirt roads that connect this whole beach. So from Blanca Peña, there's surfing and snorkeling along here, all the way up to Las Ruinas. So Las Ruinas is an old lighthouse that from the 1920s is when it was destroyed by an earthquake. So here's a photo of the kids at Las Ruinas, the old lighthouse. From here, Borinquen Beach is right here. There's some big cliffs over here. It's a really pretty view from Borinquen Beach looking this way. If the imagery ever loads, there's some good snorkeling here when the waves aren't big. However, there we are. So this catches a lot of waves, especially in the winter time. The Atlantic Ocean is to the north. You get a lot of waves coming in here, so a lot of surfers in this area. But again, when it's calm, it's a good snorkeling area. So this whole area used to be an Air Force base. Now it's much smaller, and it's a Coast Guard air station. So the Coast Guard base is over here. All of this is public access. For DoD members, there's a little post exchange here. So Surfers Beach here is another fun one. There's access right here down a steep hill. You can park here. From there you can hike over here to Survival Beach. There's no vehicular access to Survival Beach, but it's a fun little hike. So there's a great dive shop, this Aquatica Dive and Surf. People there are really friendly. They offered some pretty good advice on snorkeling and diving in the area. If you do go in and talk to them, do them a favor and buy something from them. They're not in business just to give advice, but they have some nice fish identification books. So if you go snorkeling, you know what you're seeing. We've also bought several masks and snorkels from them. You can talk to them about discovery dive trips. If you don't have your PADI certificate, they can take you on an introductory dive. Or if you do have your PADI cert, they can take you on a charter. We highly recommend them. They're very nice folks there. East of Aguadilla is the Hobos Beach area. So this area has a lot of restaurants, and there's some condos. We'll talk about that in lodging, but you may find some vacation rental by owners here, little condos to stay in. This Villa Montaña Beach Resort is a fantastic place as well. We'll talk lodging on that one too. So further east is Isabela. So this is the Isabela area. There are actually some walking trails over in this area, as well as some condos. So again, lodging. Most areas here don't have walking or biking paths. This is one area that does. So, all right, from here, further to the east, you have Camuy and Arecibo. All right, here's a little better view. So Camuy has Kamui Caves. There's Cueva Ventana, and there's a zipline adventure in the area. We haven't been to any of those just yet, but we plan on going sometime. Arecibo has a big satellite dish. You may have seen it in some pictures. It's in this area here. So let's talk some lodging. So in San Juan area, if you're DOD, you could stay on Fort Buchanan. It ends up being kind of pricey if you're not on orders. Everywhere in the San Juan metro area seems to be a little more expensive than I would have expected. Further east, there's Coquis Hideaway, like we mentioned before. Okay, another place to stay if you're DOD is at Ramey Coast Guard Base over in this area. They have some cottages that are duplexes, and they're fully furnished. They seem to be pretty reasonably priced as well. So vacation rental by owner and other such sites have condos or house rentals you can rent. Some good areas are Isabela here, Hobos Beach area, Cabo Rojo, and Rincon. What we would look for in a place is somewhere near the beach, since we like to swim and snorkel, but that's just what we like to do here. I'll include links to the places that we know about down in the description. There's a Hilton in Ponce down here. There's a Marriott in Aguadilla near the Ramey Coast Guard Base. There's a Holiday Inn in Mayaguez and multiple others throughout the island. There aren't as many hotels around as in the States, but still plenty of places to stay. There are some small hotels that usually don't advertise online, so you may find one just driving around, such as the one in La Parguera. It's just a local joint. Avoid motels. They're usually hourly rates, and you can guess what they're used for. Villa Montaña Beach Resort is a nice resort that Emily and I stayed at while we were house hunting here a year ago. It's a great location down on a beautiful beach. They had a really nice restaurant that was right on the beach. You can sit there and eat and watch the waves, listen to them. It was a really nice area. We haven't been there since the hurricane or since the 30-foot nor'easter waves a few weeks ago. So we're not sure if the restaurant was damaged or not. It was right down on the beach and had great food. You don't have to be staying there to eat there if they're open. So food here in Puerto Rico. There are typical American fast food joints and some typical American restaurants, but I encourage you to branch out and try the local places. There are roadside vendors who sell things such as pinchos. Pinchos are kebabs of various meats. They've got roasted chicken, and best of all, they have lechon. Lechon is the roasted pig. Local chain restaurant that's pretty good is El Mesón. They've got good sandwiches and salads. Mofongo is a local traditional dish made of plantain. Plantain is kind of like banana, but it's not sweet, and it ends up more like a mashed potato. There are also plantain chips that are like potato chips. You should try them while you're here. Try a roadside fruit stand. It's late April, and the mangoes are just starting to come on. We love the pineapple. I'll pick a couple up every week and bring them home, and the kids eat them right away. The yellow pineapples are usually the sweetest. They might even cut it for you if you ask. They also have huge avocados called aguacate. You'll see signs for coco frio. It's cold coconut water, and it's great to try at least once. Or you can go straight to the source and drink it out of the coconut with a straw. It's good to ask around the locals to get good recommendations. In my area, La Joyuda has a bunch of restaurants right on the water. Many have been recently rebuilt after being mostly or partially destroyed. One last recommendation on eating out. If you get cold easily, take a jacket. Emily's always cold when we go out to eat as they crank up the AC. Also, plan on a little extra time if it's a sit-down restaurant. They're never in a hurry to bring you your food or your bill. Okay, other info, recommendations, and advice. Bring cash or get cash here at an ATM. Get small bills too, nothing larger than a 20. ATM fees here can be up to $6 per transaction. But if you use your debit card at a grocery store, you can get cash back. The power goes out frequently here. It's usually localized, but a few weeks ago the power went out on the whole east side of the island for a day. Then last week the whole island lost power for another day. When power goes out, many places can't use their card readers. They call them sistemas de ATH, or ATH systems. It's kind of like an ATM, so that's what they call their card readers. We created a scavenger hunt. You can click on the link in the description. It's a shared document, and feel free to print it, have a little fun. We have different categories that are kind of fun. If you have any suggestions on the create your own, go ahead and put them in the comments down below. Maybe we'll update the scavenger hunt. We love snorkeling. To us, it was worth it to buy our own gear. There are shops that may rent you gear if you're only going to go once or twice. Hopefully soon I'll make a video on snorkeling gear and how to go snorkeling. You can do map reconnaissance to find some good snorkeling areas where you can see the reefs, but imagery doesn't show everything, so don't rely solely on that. Alright, bugs. There are plenty of biting bugs here. We've got ants, mosquitoes, sand fleas, and worst of all, mimes, spelled M-I-M-E-S. Mimes are tiny little flies that when they bite, they itch like crazy. They attack en masse at dusk. You can see a mime in my hand on the right. They seem to bite through bug repellent, so it's best just to cover up. Our turtle video shows us all covered up and others that weren't. If you watch close, you'll see them swatting at their ankles and legs. You can see my ankles in this picture got eaten up by mimes. They itch so bad that sometimes it's hard to sleep when you've been attacked. I've taken antihistamines and when I've had a lot of the mime bites, and that really relieves my itching, lets me sleep at night. They seem to be at the beach at dusk and also in grass, kind of pretty consistently, not just at dusk. Sand fleas are little bugs that live in the sand or in the water at the beach. I believe they're little crustaceans. They're roughly shaped like a flea. They're a bit bigger than a flea, and they can bite you. They bite more in some areas and some times of the day than others. I don't think they itch as bad as mimes, but you can definitely feel them bite. They kind of chomp on you. They get blamed for the mime bites sometimes, as they're in the same habitat, but mimes, I think, are a lot worse. Listen to the coquis at night. I'm outside as I'm recording this. Probably hear a few cars driving by, and you can hear the crickets and also the coquis. The coquis are little tiny frogs that make a big noise. They love to sing after it rains or at night. Other wildlife are some beautiful birds. I've seen mongoose, hermit crabs, iguanas, and tons of fish if you snorkel. Phone service for those in the US, most of the major cell networks work here. Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, sort of. We have Verizon and had to work with customer service to get ours to work here, but then it started working pretty good. It works on the Claro network. Claro used to be Verizon here, but they sold out to be Claro. Coincidentally, the Claro network was the first one to come up after the hurricane, so it worked out well for us, although we had purchased an AT&T SIM card before the hurricane, just to have it in case AT&T worked and Claro didn't. So when you visit, you'll see a lot of damage from the hurricane. Damaged signs, fallen trees, roofs broken or bent, power lines and power poles broken, roads washed out, etc. It's getting better. It was much worse. It's hard to describe the damage without seeing it yourself. We'll try to make a video of our pictures we took of the damage in the next couple months. We're going to be moving in May, so it may be a little while. It's always easier to shoot footage than make videos. Editing takes a lot longer and isn't nearly as fun as snorkeling. If you want to capture your trip on video, it's fun to get a GoPro type camera, especially with a waterproof case. We have two different Soocoo cameras. It's like a GoPro knockoff. One wasn't enough when snorkeling, since whoever your buddy is when you're snorkeling always sees something and wants to take it from you, and then you see something and you want the camera back. There's a link in the description below that will take you to each of the cameras that we have. The less expensive one is only $49. It comes with a waterproof case, and the more expensive one was only 99 bucks. I've actually been pretty impressed with this one. It also comes with a waterproof case. An accessory that is good to have is a selfie stick for these too. Helps you get a little closer to the fish. A windshield mount for your camera is also kind of fun. You put the camera on time lapse and you can record some of your travels here. A little demonstration on Google Translate. So it's an app here. I'm going to touch this. Google Translate. So you can tell it you want it to translate from this language to this language. And then there's a toggle button here. So I've got Spanish over here, English over there. Oops. So I'm going to swap English to Spanish. Alright, so there are several options. You can tap to enter text. So I wanted to know how you say pancake. Alright, so you click that, pancake. Spanish, it's this. And there's alternate translations because Spanish is very regional. Some areas use different words. So, alright, there's handwriting, conversation, voice, camera. Alright, so I'm going to go to camera. So I've got this English text here. Now, watch this. It turns it into Spanish. Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Let's see. You have to hold it still. Yeah, that what is not translating very well. But, so what would you like to eat for breakfast? Translates, there we are. ¿Qué le gusta comer para el desayuno? So that works. Alright, so if you hold it still, esta es una demostración de la forma en que Google Traducir puede trabajar. And here it says, this is a demonstration of how Google Translate can work. And we'll go back. You can also do conversation or voice. So conversation should have both sides of the conversation. So there's the Spanish and there's the English. Kind of neat. Or just voice. What would you like for breakfast? So there it is written. ¿Qué te gustaría para el desayuno? At the stores here, they don't give plastic bags, or else they'll charge you for a bag. There was some legislation passed a while back that prohibits businesses from giving out bags in an effort to limit garbage. We leave reusable bags in the car trunk. We usually forget to take them into the store, but you can just put things back in your cart, take it out to your trunk, and then load them in the trunk. Your gas stations here don't have pay at the pump. You got to go inside and give them your card, tell them which pump you're on, and tell them either how much money you want to put on it, or tell them you're going to fill it up and leave the card with them. And then you go back and finish your paying when you're done. It's a pain, but they all do it here. Also, there's no pump handle lock, so you got to hold it by hand. A little tip on safety. So there's some areas to avoid. It's pretty obvious when you're driving what areas you should avoid. Just get out of that neighborhood. When you park, just lock your car doors and don't put valuables in sight within the car. I think there's a lot less crime on the west side of the island than in San Juan itself. Well, that's an overview of planning a trip to Puerto Rico. I hope it was helpful and hope you have a good visit. It's a great place to visit. While it has some challenges, we're still enjoying our time here. We've never lived near the ocean before, but it's definitely working its way into our retirement plans in one form or another. I'd love to have a sailboat and sail the Caribbean part of the year when I retire. We hope you found this helpful. Feel free to contribute in the comments section of your experiences down below or your recommendations. Subscribe if you want to see more videos about living in Puerto Rico and our adventures here. We hope you have a great trip.